So now we are recording our next chapter Zoom. So grateful for all of you to be on here. I'm excited because I get to lead. Anytime I get that opportunity, I'm already excited. It doesn't even matter what it's going to be on. And so here we are talking about the why. And I want to ask a question. First of all, this is going to be very high participation. So you're going to keep your finger on that, around that mute button, because you're going to want to unmute yourself a lot. And then also to be prepped, have a piece of paper, something to write with, so a pen and some paper that has some room on it. I should have said that in the minutes that we were waiting for people. But as you grab that, I just want to say, as a kid, if you've been around kids at all, some of us have them, some of us don't, some of us have been around them, some of us try to avoid them like me. But what is it that kids always ask adults?
Why?
Absolutely. Kids have a childlike wonder. I mean, they are a child, so they just have wonder, and they ask why all the time. And what is the parent's response usually? Or what are some responses?
Because I said so. I'm not even a parent.
Yeah. And I feel free to unmute yourself. There's going to be high participation. Don't be shy. So, yes, they say, parents say, you don't need to know why, or because I said so, or stop asking me why, all those things like that, right? And so as the kid gets older and he goes to elementary school, what does he hear? More of the same. He asks why, and the teachers say, because that's what's in the book, because that's what I said, because I'm your teacher. And as human beings, these kids growing up go to high school, it's much of the same. People tell you what you should do, what you're good at. And so what ends up happening? We actually get conditioned to not think of and come from our why. That we should basically just come from how and what. And that's all that we should focus on. Now, why do I bring this up? Why do I bring up why? It's because why is your vision? Why, and I'm going to go into analogy. You knew I was going to get there. Your why is like going on a vacation. You have a destination. Your why is, let's say you want to go to California, like where Eva's at, and you want to be by Santa Monica. You want to be by the beach. You get the feeling of what it's like for the warm air, the sand, the little cafes around, maybe you surf, but you actually get an experience, right? You experience a why, and then you decide to go there. Whether your how and the what become, you can take your car, you could fly, you could ride your bike. So that's the how, and the what is like, if you're in the car, you push the gas. If you're on a bike, you can pedal the bike. If you're on a plane, you just sleep pretty much and ride. But what if you don't have a why, and what if you don't know exactly where you want to go? What if you just said, what if people started to say to you, shut up, I know better, listen to me, and then just get on your bike and start pedaling, or just get in your car and start driving, or just get on a plane and just go. You can do that, but what ends up happening when you run into problems? For instance, like you're in your car, you get a flat tire. And if you're not really clear on where you're going or why you even want to go there, that might deter you. Like, man, I got that flat tire. Maybe I'll just turn around. This city looks fine. Maybe I'll just stay here. Maybe your windshield breaks. Maybe you run out of gas. Things keep happening. And so you say to yourself, this doesn't seem to be worth it. I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to stop. I'm going to quit. Or I'm just going to stay in this city. This looks fine. Rather than, if you were clear on where you were going to Santa Monica Pier by Eva, you were going to ride a beach cruiser, you're going to sit on the sand, you're going to feel the warm air, you're going to feel the breeze, then what? When you're fixing your tire in your car, you can actually feel that experience, and you know why you're going to get through fixing that tire. Then the tire could be fun. You're like, I know what it's going to be like in California when I get there, and it doesn't matter what comes up. Have this tire get blown out. I'll run out of gas. My windshield could break. Doesn't matter. This is even kind of fun because I know what it's going to be like when I get there. That's the why. So that's why I want to bring this conversation back up. And just kind of as a question, how many of us have heard of discovering your why at some event at some time? How many have like gone through and actually discovered a why? And how many of us, and if I was going to be honest, how this topic came about is because this happened to me this week. How many of you, like myself, have gone and you've written a why out, and then within a couple of days, it kind of went away, things happened, it wasn't really what was driving the bus? Can anybody relate to that? So what I'm going to propose is, as often as we've heard about the why, I want you to put that all aside, that you've done it before, that you've written one out, because what I'm going to suggest is missing, and the point of this call is two things. Your why wasn't clear. Your why lived like an idea or a thought. Now, we have thoughts, thousands of thoughts a day. So if your why in a moment is just a thought, something you've written down or something that you verbalized, it's not going to stick around. It's going to get lost in the flow of the other thoughts that you might have that day. So what's missing is for you to attach your why or go deep enough to your why to feel something, to have the experience of that why. It's one thing even to write it down. It was another thing, like for me this week, to actually say, now if that had happened, what am I going to be feeling? How do I feel? Now, why is that important? Because the feeling and the emotion attaches and creates a memory. That is the importance and the difference of it just being a thought or it just being something you said one time. I remember Susan Sly, as great as she is, the celebration event that she led, I was like, oh, here we go, why again? Okay, I took a couple minutes to write my why down, and then I'm like, why? Why isn't it still around? Why aren't I driven by my why? And it's because I didn't attach the emotion to it. Or the other thing could be, the number two, is that you didn't have the structure in place to remind yourself to get to the place that you feel it each day. So you didn't have the things in place to keep that alive for you. So those were the two things. And again, going back to why is the why so important? Because without it, the how and the what, it doesn't matter. Like you could, like I said, get in the car, you could smash your gas down on the highway. Oh, I'm out here doing stuff. Great. Well, what happens when things come up or you have no idea where you're going? I mean, so it seems like a lot of people out there in society want you to hustle. They want you to just figure out the how and the what. Don't ask why, but the why is so important. So I'm going to stop talking a little bit now, and I want you to write. So I want to give you 2 minutes. And where I'm getting this from is, of every Isogenics workbook ever made, they have the clarify your why, and I was going over this yesterday. So I want you to write down this question: what drives you the most? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and by the way, I'm going to end at 7:30, and I'm going to give Jocelyn 5 minutes at the end. So I'm going to keep to my word on that. So I want to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to try to play some music, see how that works out. But I want you to really start to think about and write what drives you the most. And really just start there. And don't worry about getting it right. I just want you to just start writing. So go ahead and do that now. When you think about, and keep going, when you think about what drives you the most, I want you to really think about, like, if you could wake up, a question I ask myself, if I could wake up tomorrow and be doing anything, what would I be doing? And one thing that was posed to me a couple weeks ago was to really be authentic about this. And yeah, we're in a business that contributes to people's lives, health and financially. And it sounds good for us to say, like, I want to help a lot of people, I want to be a leader. But one of the things I stepped over was being authentic about what my why really was, what really drove me. And to be honest, if earning a lot of money is something that drives you, be honest about it. If being able to go on like the sickest vacation that you could think of is like your real why, like what you would want to wake up and do tomorrow, really write that down. Another question you could ask yourself is if you went to the ATM tomorrow and you punched in your PIN and the balance in your account said unlimited, what would you do? And then I'd like to have a couple people share. I see people still writing. And one thing I want to point out is also want you to start to get how that would feel. I want you to get what that experience would be. And that's how you know you hit your real why. Because when you share it with somebody or you read it back over, you don't even choose it. You feel as I describe it, a fire that makes me want to get up out of my chair, flip my chair over, run outside, yell, scream. I mean, it makes me want to move. It makes me want to, I don't know, it's just a fire. And like when I share about it, you can hear it in my voice. So if you don't get the chance here now to get all the way through this, how you know that you got to your true why? There's going to be other whys like benefiting people's lives. That's just what we're doing. That's a part of the how and the what. But your why, when you know you got to it, it's because you're going to experience something, and you're going to like experience that greatness, that spirit that lives in you that's here for a purpose, and it's like a part of your zone of genius. Like all of that put together, like Josh talks about alignment, you're going to feel that. So I really want to say, do the work on this until you have that feeling like that you can't help but grab the person next to you, whoever's around. It could be a stranger, like, let me tell you about this. That's the kind of experience and feeling that you should have. Otherwise, you might be at some other layer of a why, but you're not at the one that's going to drive you the most. So, like I said, there's going to be higher participation. What are some things? Does anybody have a why that either stood out to them, like they hadn't written that down before, or now you have like an experience of something that you haven't had an experience of before? Michael.
Yeah, so one that I wrote down this time around that I've never written down before was just not having to worry about money. And that's with reading the book that we're reading, A Happy Pocket Full of Money, and then just the work that I've been doing lately. It's like I'm getting connected to how much time and energy I actually spend worrying about it. Like, where is it going to come from? How am I going to generate it to pay for different things in my life? So what I wrote down now was like not having to think about it, like to be able to spend freely, and not like stupid spending, but just spend from like a place of giving or a place of contribution, rather than a place of concern or worry.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit about, here you are having that kind of freedom. I mean, what does that feel like?
I mean, it would just be like playful and fun. I would have the experience of just playing in life. like life is fun and I get to play this game.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's one thing, and I'd like a whole bunch of other people to also share. As you write your why, one of the things that isn't necessarily pointed out, when you write your why, I want you to write a couple words of experience, right, to really try to capture that. So like Michael wrote out everything he wrote out about financial freedom and being able to give freely, and the thing that he really could feel is playing in life. So I really want that to be a part of the why. Yes, there's a statement. Yes, there's like the activity or the thing, but write down that experience word too, because it's so important. That's what's going to actually attach and create a memory, a place for you to come from and go to in the future. So who else? Thanks, Michael. Lisa.
So I've been working on this for 8 years, and one of the things that really, it's not about the money. It's not about the things. Yes, I want the house, and I want to be able to travel, and I want to do those things. But my why, what's really driving me, is I want to be an example to my children that they can have it all, and particularly my daughter. I want to, and I will, be a 7-figure annual income earner, make over $1 million a year from home in my yoga pants. Because I think there's so few women who do that. And there's so few people who do that, but there's so few women who do that. And I think particularly women feel like they have to choose between having, a career that just, is just awesome, and being at home and being a fantastic mom and going on the field trips and doing all those things. And I want to show people that they can have whatever they want in life. They can have both by being an example and showing my kids whatever they set their mind to, if they do it with focus and dedication, and it doesn't have to be this, but whatever they set their mind to, they can accomplish. And so when I feel like, like a little sluggish, I'm like, no, I gotta be the example to my children, because I want them to say, look at what mom did, and I can do whatever I set my mind to, because she was able to do whatever she set her mind to. So that's my why, and it just drives me.
And you can hear the passion in your voice, Lisa. What is that feeling? What are you feeling right now? Because you're living in that right now. So what is that feeling?
It's just, it's fierce. For those of you, and I know some of you are parents, some of you aren't, but for those of you who are parents, there's a fierceness. I mean, just nod if you know. I mean, as a mom, you just feel this fierceness, this protection over your kids. And it's like, nobody is going to do anything to those kids. And I feel that with this. It's this feeling, this fierceness. And like, I owe it to my children to show them what is possible in life, to be the example of what is possible in life. And beyond my children, to other people, the people who don't think they can have it all. And I remember I went to a Train the Trainer event, and David Wood had us do this exercise, and we were doing Martin Luther King's speech. I have his last speech, I've been to the mountaintop, and really getting into it. And then we came back into the circle, and Colin James, who was there, said, "How dare you play small?" And just like really got in our face about how dare we play small. And it was like the dam broke, and I just started sobbing and like totally broke down. And I thought, no, I can't. I can't. The regret I would feel would be too big.
Yeah. And, that points to, and Lisa, if you can try to capture some of that in words. That's really what I want to share with people. If you think about all the classes, all the events you've ever gone to, do you really remember what was said or what you had thought? No, what you remember is an experience. And so that's the power of trying to be able to capture an experience in the words that really fuel that for you. And that's what we really want to be adding onto the why. So you don't just go read a why statement sometime later and you're like, oh, whatever. Really try to capture those words, because what you will always remember is an experience. So Lisa, thank you so much for that. Is there one more person? See, that's 7:53. So yes, Rachel.
All right. Sorry, I had to figure that out. Okay, so one thing that really drives me, and I'm having a hard time figuring out my why, and I'm glad to hear, Lisa, that it's not something that you need to know like right away, because and that it's like a progression, and may even change a little bit, because that's one thing I'm like, I don't know my why. Am I not going to do well because I can't attach to my why? I don't know, because I'm reading everything and watching all the movies and videos and everything. So the one big thing that has always driven me, there's a couple things. One, recognition. I'm a huge recognition junkie. So it's so it's one of those things, like, I'm not driven by money. So the whole idea of making a lot of money is, yeah, that would be awesome, because I'm with Michael, and I just want to be able to like do what I want when I want to do it, However, it's that attaboys, the job well done, the working with other people, and they enjoy working with me because I do a good job, and that kind of thing. And that's the affirmation from my peers, from my leaders. Those are things that drive me. And so another big aspect of, I look through my careers over my life, and the one thing that has always excited me is training other people. Like, out of all my jobs, like when I get that opportunity, whether it's one-on-one or in a large classroom setting, I love it. Those are the things that I really enjoy. So if I could just somehow and I feel like excitement when I have those, when I am in that training position, I get pumped about it. Those are the kind of things that, always excite me. And in the past years, anytime I'd gone to seminars or anything big like that, I would always want to be the person teaching. So those are kind of the things that just drive me, and somehow putting that into words would be helpful. Well, those were words, but a actual focus would be helpful.
And I love what you said. I spent 3 years going to events saying I am not clear on my why. Not kidding you. It's not really until yesterday that I said, you know what, that's not an excuse for me anymore. And I'm not saying you had an excuse, but Rachel, I hear from you that the recognition and the setting up where you can train people and sort of be recognized for the difference you made with them, right there you can hear the difference in the voice. How many here can hear a difference in the voice of Rachel when she started sharing right there? So I would go right there, and like I said, when you start to feel like that experience, that passion, really, really hone in on that why. Yeah, we're gonna have other things, but the thing that's gonna be.
Hey, Aaron, can you right click on? Oh, there we go.
I just did. So really, stay right there, and it may modify a little bit, but when you get that kind of passion and excitement, you're right there on the right path. And like I said, I don't know why it took me 3 years until yesterday to really get mine. And I'll share with you briefly. If to be really honest with everyone, mine is to be recognized on stage, and to be training, to be speaking and doing a keynote at Celebration, at ICU, to be training with David Wood, to be recognized as someone that should be up there and has gotten to a position where they make a difference. That's my why. And when I was allowing myself to feel that, I want to flip over chairs and I'm ready to go. So, that's my why. And so that's one of the things I wanted to point to, that if you don't have that feeling yet, take the time. It took me 5 to 7 minutes, but that time to really get the experience and a why that's that clear is going to make a huge difference than rather the few actions that you could have taken from some other direction. And to take the time to have that be that clear for you, for all of us, is so powerful. So I know I'm running out of time. A couple of things I want to mention. The next question on the clarify your why is what drives your actions now. And when I thought about this, I said to myself, actions can also be inactions. So what I was interested to find out for myself, which I did, was what drives my actions now, or what drives me to not take actions and to not go after my why that I just got clear on. So knowing what gets in the way or what causes inaction is really important to know. And then to also look at, from your why, what's driving your actions right now. And that could be, like I said, action or inaction. So then the half hour goes so fast. And Jocelyn, I'll have to give you, if everyone's okay with the extra 5 minutes, I'll have to give you the after 7:30. So,
Linz, do you guys have a call after this? No? Okay.
So how will you connect to your why? Now, having the clarity like this, knowing what might get in the way of or keeping you from taking action or causing inaction, is how you will connect to your why. Now, I talked to Lisa today. She has a system that she's been doing for 8 years, which is awesome. And really getting something for yourself, I suggest in the morning, and I'll just share with you what I do, is I read for one to just like build my strength, my belief, my intention for the day. That's so important. What's going to be your intention for the day? And intention does not mean what are you going to make happen. Intention is really what are you going to connect to. And by connect to, I mean connecting to this why. And this why comes from the source, comes from spirit. So intention is how are you going to connect to that? That's what intention really means. So for me, I also take a Post-it note and I write down each morning this why, like what excites me, what's driving me, and I get clear on how I'm going to feel in that experience. And I do some other stuff too, but maybe that's something for you. Like maybe you write on a Post-it and then I put it in my pocket, which people don't keep paper in their pockets anymore, right? So why is that important? Watch this. This is magic. You know what you wrote on the piece of paper, and as you go throughout your day, you can forget. But given that none of us are used to having paper in our pockets, I'm not kidding you, this works. You'll go to sit down and you'll feel paper crumple in your pocket, or you'll put your hand in your pocket and you'll be like, what is this paper? This really works. When your hand touches the paper in your pocket, that what you wrote, your why, will travel up your hand, through your shoulder, into your brain, and you will recall and remember what you wrote on that paper. I'm not kidding you. So that's a phenomenal way to keep this alive and how you're going to connect to your why. So then there's all that. And then as leaders, which we all are, how are you going to have your team members connect to their why? Well, really do the same thing as we did today. Really talk to your people about building this kind of why, how you're going to keep it alive. And then as a part of the ABC 1, 2, 3, you knew I'd get it in there. The why is so important because the why is really the A. As soon as you connect to this why, as soon as you feel that experience, that emotion, immediately that will change your attitude. And that's the A, right? This is all about ABC 1, 2, 3. You have to have the right attitude. And connecting to your why and having a way to keep connected to it will immediately transform your attitude. And from there, then you can take inspired action. So I could speak all day. This is my why. I love talking and speaking and all that. But I hope that you got something from this in particular. And if you didn't, I really suggest taking that little bit of time it might take to get this kind of clarity, because this is going to make all the difference, not only for your Isagenix business, but for what you're up for in life. Connecting to intention is how your external world gets manifested. It starts with your intention. It starts with connecting to your why, and that is how you create your life. So, Jocelyn, you wanted to take a few minutes?
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm like, my heart is pitter-pattering because I'm so fired up by this. And I just had a couple things I wanted to share. So thank you for a couple more minutes. But why I do this is truly because for me, I'm like many of you who already said, like, money isn't my driver. I have all the freedom now because I've retired from my job. So I've got that. So what keeps me going is truly seeing human potential expand. And it is so freaking cool that we have this opportunity to see our growth. And that fires me up. Like just seeing that we can, as humans, just keep growing and we have a business that grows with us. Like that's the coolest thing ever. So I had just a couple quick things I want to bring up, because as we go into the end of the new year, and then start the new year, like right now, there can be a tendency for people to get into a lull, right? Which we're not those people, because you guys are all on this call and that's freaking awesome. And there are people in this team, in the Facebook group, that need our energy. And I know that when I'm having a certain moment, if I go into the Stronger Together groups and I see your guys' posts, it makes a difference for me. And I just want to create some context, because I think sometimes I've taken it for granted, and maybe you have, but there are people that literally pay to be in Facebook groups. No product, no specific anything. They literally pay to be in Facebook groups because they get coaching there. And I just want to create this context, because some people pay $100 a month to be in just a Facebook group. And so I want to just presence the asset that we have with this Facebook group, and that people come into this and they have access to, nursing moms and learning from moms about healthy nutrition, neurosurgeons, nurses, naturopathic doctors, exercise physiologists, people experiencing their transformation. Like, it is unbelievable, the asset that we have with this group. And why I wanted to presence that is because, especially through this time of year, all of us and our energy makes such a difference in there. So I highly encourage you to be in there posting and commenting as much as possible, because we all want high retention, right? You want your team to stay using the product, yeah? And you want people you introduce to the group to be engaged, right? It is the group. It is the Facebook group. And I just want to really have everyone, because it occurred to me recently, like, oh my gosh, like this is free for people. And what they get is unbelievable. Snack ideas, coaching, recipes. People would pay a lot for this. So I want to invite you and have you realize that your posts matter, your energy matters, and it is a business tool that is the future. You will see more and more businesses existing in Facebook groups, beyond even network marketing. And so I just encourage you to really be the one to post and put, comments and content in there. We all make a difference. And that's the biggest thing. So I wanted to just say that, and then we're going to, I'm excited. Like, there's so many training topics. I know people posted in the survey that you guys want more training on retention, how to use the 90-day game plan, how to coach people and things like that. So that's all coming. And so anything you guys want to say about the Facebook group? Who loves the Facebook groups? Both our product and business. Yeah. So be the one, you guys, your posts matter. It's such a beautiful tool that we have. And I just wanted to mention that.
I love so much that you shared that. And I want to remind people too that as you're adding people, again, each and every one of us on this call is a leader. If you've added one person to that Facebook group, they're looking to you. They want to see you as a leader. And how they do that is whenever you post or comment in that group, even if you're just commenting and loving on other people, or giving advice, saying, hey, here's my favorite shake recipe, then they get, the people you've added, if you're Facebook friends with them, get a notification. So that it's even just such a subconscious thing, has people start to see, like, wow, Wendy or Rachel or Joy, like, wow, they're really leaders in this team. I see them posting all the time. This is pretty cool. So it's such a subtle thing, but it really makes all the difference. So that's another huge reason to get involved.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that, Jocelyn. That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Michael, was there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that since I took on doing Facebook Lives every Monday, is uncomfortable. I don't like that. I mean, it's really uncomfortable for me. It always feels awkward for me. I'm like by myself, so I feel like it's weird as it's happening, But I've definitely felt more connected to the group from doing that, and I just think it's so valuable to like see people's faces in there too. Like I know for me, I've been a part of Isogenics, part of the group for 2 years now. And anytime I see someone's face in there, you know, rather than just a traditional whatever post, I get like really connected to them, and I feel really connected to them and really connected to the group. So I'd like to see more people's face in there, whether it's a Facebook Live or a picture of you using your favorite product or at the gym or whatever. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, such a good point for sure. And that's what I just want you all to be left with, is that your voice matters. People want to hear from you because there's things you've experienced that I haven't experienced, and, you know, other people. So, and just for you to really get that in the entrepreneur world, I'm really realizing I've been to a couple marketing workshops, and this is the future of business. Facebook groups will be where businesses are moving, honestly. And we're giving this to people for free. So let's just flood it with, you know, not just content just for content, but your health beliefs, your wealth beliefs. Let's post about the book we're reading as a team. Like, it is amazing what we have. So who's in to be like, just really use that asset, really support the community, really have your voice heard. That's another way to practice your sharing in that safe space, is what you believe about health and wellness, what your story is. It's just great. So I think I made my point. I'm fired up about that, and just more to come, you guys. I thank you all for joining tonight.
Yeah, and then lastly, the book. So for those that didn't hear, we're all reading A Happy Pocket Full of Money, and probably Lindsay is the furthest along, as she had a whole drive to Albuquerque. But I'm on chapter 2, so really encourage you to jump in on that book. You wouldn't be too far behind me if you were just getting started. And let's post about it. You know, we can have some time to maybe share on other next chapter calls about what we're getting. Maybe that'll be even a topic. Money is an illusion. That's a great one. But let's post about it. And then, you know, really have, this book is amazing. Let's build each other's wealth consciousness, attract this kind of wealth in, and then build this team. And then also it'll be great. People will be like, what is this book about? And then I think it'll build community and just have us all just really be connected. So again, thanks so much for jumping on. I'll stop this recording and let everyone go. So great to see all of you. Have a great week.